Hey, everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. I've got a lot of bad news for you. And that might sound like a bad thing, but it's actually a good thing because when you see what's really happening in the world, in America, in finance and politics, you start to really be able to wake up, come up with a game plan, and then understand how to absolutely crush it and dominate it. Now, it looks like I'm doing a live stream to nobody. And the reason why is because today I have zero people watching, zero thumbs up as of right now. Normally, I would have 500 people watching. That's not a joke, but the other day, people started watching an old video from a year ago. I think I might have to take it down because it is what took the channel down a little over a year ago when I warned everyone of a virus that was coming right before the election. That is correct. I did a video. It is real. Um, Now that virus has now come out, it's in public, even though it's all over the media, but in hidden places in the media. It's not in the mainstream media yet. Even though the mainstream media is covering it, I know it sounds crazy, but right now, what's happening with this live stream being held back, I'm not joking. Hey, it just went from one person to 383 as of the minute and 23-second mark. And I bring this up not to cry for the economic ninja, but to expose what's really happening right now. The video I did a year ago, and I sent that out to the newsletter subscribers. We're actually going to put the exact same data for the first time ever in today's newsletter. For if you want, there's a link down below because this information is really happening. I believe from a year and a half, like a year and 4 weeks ago, I warned about a virus that was coming, and I even showed what country I thought it was going to be coming out of because of what big organizations said. And it is now happening. And it is already, we're at 12 deaths as of the first week of this. And I think this should be taken seriously. Not because I don't know if this is a psyop or not, but I do know one thing. I have a real strong feeling this is going to upend or disturb the elections. I could be wrong or I may be right, but it's better to put this information out so that you can decipher it for yourself. Now, I've got tons of news right now. And again, the purpose of this channel is to wake people up to what happens before you're told by the propaganda machine of the mainstream media so you have time to prepare, okay? So here we go. Let's get our coffee. Let's go crush it right now with my Shelby Cobra mug as the price of Shelby Cobras collapse, GT40s, Lamborghinis, and other cars like we talked about. And let's dive right in. So again, I'm going to put a link down below to the newsletter. If you want, it's free. Amazon, first story, could cut 14,000 managers soon and save $3 billion a year, according to Morgan Stanley. You know, I can't stop thinking about the movie. What was it? What was it when the guys that just hate their job and they hate middle management went and destroyed the company by stealing pennies, fractions of cents from every transaction, and then ultimately they burned the place down. Office space. And you think about this, we've been warning about coming layoffs. And I started warning about this actually 2 years ago. And it started it in tech in the year 2023, right in the beginning, or sorry, 2022-ish. Then it moved into banking. Then real estate started seeing tons of people just walk away from their jobs, not even getting laid off. Real estate agents were walking away because they couldn't sell any properties. And the point being is that is filtering down to the average everyday person's job. And it's very important that you start to wake up and think about what's going on as companies like Amazon. Think about it. The economy's great, right? That's what Biden would tell you. That's what Jerome Powell tells you. Yet the largest online retailer finds it necessary all of a sudden to cut 14,000 jobs. That's a sign to you. And a lot of people are going, well, Ninja, what do I do? Well, first off, everybody needs to have a side hustle. Every single person in our country needs to have some sort of small business. Why? That's how our country was started. That's what made our country great. That is what created the Industrial Revolution. And then now think about it. Before you knew it, businesses got bigger and bigger. And then some businesses took over more businesses, other businesses. Before you know it, now you're choked, you're held back. Think about this. The largest employer in our nation, right after the Great Recession, it's the Department of Defense, largest employer. Actually, I think it's the largest employer on earth, did not give a single raise to its employees for 10 years, not one cost of living adjustment. Yet through those 10 years, all kinds of things went up. Everything went up, right? As time goes on, the purchasing power of your currency is destroyed. That is the only guarantee besides death and taxes that you have. So you've got to fight it. And how you fight it is you start becoming independent. We're in America, we're Americans. Let's get more independent. All right. So Amazon is proving to you right now that they are cutting. Now, this is interesting. This hasn't been announced yet. This is according to Morgan Stanley. So this is before it's officially announced. It says Morgan Stanley estimates Amazon can cut 13,834 managers and save roughly $3 billion next year. CEO Andy Jassy has said he wants to change the ratio of individual contributors to managers. And he's taking aim at bureaucracy across Amazon's massive workforce. Now, think about this. You have got analysts or banks coming out and saying, hey, you could do this. We've ran your numbers and you're going to be successful. Now, what do you think the CEO is thinking or reading these stories and going, they've already done half the work for me. They've just warned my workforce that I'm probably more than likely going to lay them off because my job as a CEO is to bring shareholder value, to boost profits, to increase sales. And that's how you do it. So that's a really good news story. Now let's talk about the next news story. It's probably one of the dumbest ever, but not for smart people. Check this out. This is out of Barron's. It's entitled, "You Bought Costco Gold Bars. Now what do you do?" Now, you know, a lot of the mainstream media over the last year since Costco, one of the major retailers in the country, if not the biggest, has been out selling gold. Then they moved to silver, and now they've just opened up, I believe, platinum bars, right? Crushing competition and showing that the American public is freaking out and getting ready to prepare for a mini bout of hyperinflation. Why do I say that? Because the Federal Reserve is about to lower rates. They're about to bail out the banks that actually already went through their first phase of crash in 2023. I want to remind you that that crash in 2023 was larger on a dollar basis than all of 2008 combined. So if for some reason you think we're out of the woods, you don't have a clue. Hey, type 1 if you understand what I'm talking about. Type 2 if you don't got a clue. Let's see how many 2s come out. And they're probably liberals. But at least they're honest liberals. It says gold has never been more expensive. That hasn't stopped Costco shoppers from snapping up gold bars this last week. But what do? And they go into it. Well, here's the good news. The ninja's going to answer this one for you. Well, if you're smart, you hold on to it because it was just announced that countries like Poland now have more gold than the entire United Kingdom. You see countries like Iraq, China, Russia, they're all out there, Saudi Arabia, buying gold and adding it to their reserves. What do they all have in common? Oh, yeah, they're attacking our economy and they're going against us and they're forming their own joint economy. Weird. So you either hold on to it like smart people, or, well, you just throw this out there. You could sell it and then you could sell it for cash. You could go down to a coin store, things like that. See, good news is you don't need mainstream media telling you what to do with your gold. All right. Do me a favor. Hashtag gold if you have gold, own gold. Hashtag silver if you have silver. And if you don't have any of it, look down in the comment sections and see what everyone is saying about it. Now, this is a great one because it's important because I myself love meat. I like to eat beef, red meat. I like to eat chicken. I like to eat all this kind of stuff. And yet we've seen a strand of meat processing plants just vaporize out of thin air because they all caught fire a couple of years ago. That was a weird thing. Then we saw a group of meat processing plants held by massive companies lay off everybody, shutter their operations, and then just open up somewhere else and hire a bunch of illegal immigrants. And now we're seeing those illegal immigrants actually go to their union bosses and go, "Hey, I think I should be paid more, and I'm not really liking my work status." You know, and you're like, "Whoa, wait a minute. How was Haiti like 2 months ago? You know, where's being happy, just being stoked? Well, you know, there's like 5 of us in a hotel room, 10 of us in a hotel room. Like, hey, just so you know, I'm from California and I work with lots of amazing Mexican gentlemen in the construction industry. I used to. And you know what they did? They all bunked up in one room. It was like being in college again. And they were saving money, sending it back to Mexico, saving up and paying cash for vehicles. It was great. It was just like what I did in college. Or if you think about it, you know, like when you had to get across town and you're with like 7 college kids and you're all in a Toyota Tercel. Yeah, you figured out a way. All of a sudden turned into a college kid clown car. But right now, I'm being stopped by the Epoch Times. They're saying, Now you got to pay for all this crap. They can't even fit. Now think about this. The legacy media is dying so bad. They've got to charge everybody to watch their stuff because they can't even come up with good enough news for you to read. Here we go. I paid for the subscription. Dozens of meat. Oh, I got shut down. Dozens of meat processing plants are now expected to shut down, and they won't show the ninja. All right, Epoch Times are done with you. Next off, we've got a story out of Zero Hedge, visualizing U.S. net immigration by presidents. Now, this is a good one. I have an infographic for you. And since I'm a one-man show that is scaring some big media outlets so that they have to take me from 10 million views a month to 1.5, it's okay. Check out this fancy graphic. Now, you're going to see a handful of presidents. You're going to see Obama. You're going to see George Bush, Obama. Who's that guy? Who's the next guy right there? Hashtag Trump. If you're voting for Trump, I'd be voting. Oh, I am voting for him, but I'd be typing it if I wasn't doing this. And then there's this dude. Now look at this is the amount of immigration that people getting through the border. Remember, more than likely illegally, right? Okay. Who has the lowest numbers out of all of these? Weird. It's Donald Trump. Even in everybody, the first two presidents having 2 terms. Look at this one guy's term. He fought for that entire term to put up a wall so that, K-pop or Kato could take credit for it, even though she's just now been there one time and the first time ever. She's the Caesar. In one term, with all the fighting against Congress to get up a part of the wall, right? He was able to slow immigration to its lowest status in 4 presidents' terms. Wow, that's weird. It's almost like we should vote for that guy again. And you know what? I have to say, I'm super pumped. The one thing that gets me super excited every time I run into an ex-liberal that says, I voted for Biden, I ain't voting for him again. I'm switching over to the other side. Not only that, we're seeing Congress people switch from the left to the right. You know what's funny? It's almost like a religious marriage where you only see one side going to the other because of some hot chick. They're going, hey, I don't see anyone going, Republicans going, you know what? I think it's time to become a Democrat. Yep, it's definitely the right choice. So it's like a one-way lane. We're seeing the left, people in the left, voters, and politicians shifting over to the right. God bless America. So check this out. Next story, and this is one that is very important to me. The Fed this is out of CNBC, and this is what you're being told. This is the narrative. The Fed is close to pulling off the elusive economic soft landing in 2024 after great September jobs report. Now, isn't that just nice? Jerome Powell, congratulations. You did what no other Fed president has ever been able to do in the sight of nationwide inflation, a horrible president, and all kinds of crap like wars around the world and things like that. You have been able to take the economy and just set it down on a pillow of feathers. Isn't that amazing? But then again, you'd probably fail if I asked you what was heavier, and let me know down below, a pound of feathers or a pound of rocks. What's the answer to that? And he would probably fail that question because I don't think they understand what a soft landing is, because that jobs report was a 100% lie. Now, I want to remind you that through the last 2 years, especially ever since Biden took office, all we've seen is lies, not only come out of the White House and the press conference room, but we've also seen pressure, like what Mark Zuckerberg would say, he made me do it. He made me do the bad things to the people's posts. We're seeing pressure being put on by this White House in all kinds of different ways. But one thing that was completely certain until just 2 months ago, this is nutball, is that the government agencies would put out numbers, and they would put out numbers in order to boost the markets. But on the same day, they would say, oh, and last month's numbers that we gave you to boost the markets, we were wrong. We're going to have to revise those down. And that was a consistent trend through the entire time I've been on YouTube and on social media. We lie to you, and then we tell you the truth the same day about last month. The next month, we lie to you, and then we go, oh, yeah, last month, yeah, no, not so good. And so that has been consistent until just recently. And I did say, please do me a favor to everyone that's been watching, type the number 3 if you remember. I have been saying all through this spring, They are going to all of a sudden surge you with amazing economic data directly before the election. All of a sudden, this pie in the sky, Jerome Powell is going to pull a bunny out of his butt and go, look at that. It's amazing. And it's still white. And they're going to say everything is great. That's what Jerome Powell said during a 50 basis point cut in interest rates, which actually signals an oh crap moment in the markets. Then they are sitting there and going, oh, jobs are amazing. And what they're doing is they're saying a blowout jobs report, by the way, which the street didn't even buy. They're like, Wall Street, the traders, they get it. Yeah, we're being lied to. I get it. It's like dating some crazy girl named Tiffany. I screwed that one up. Point being is this. To all the people that are either named Brittany or Tiffany on the channel, I apologize. And think about it. They said, not only is this month's jobs amazing, but the last 2 months, we screwed those up too. They're totally amazing. Thank you, Pat, for the super chat. So check this out. I want to remind everyone of something that happened in the recent past. This story is out of Inc. and it says, yes, the government, this was August 22nd. Yes, the government just erased more than 800,000 jobs. Here's what it means. The Bureau of Labor Statistics just revised its payroll count by the most in 15 years. And it says here, we're living out a scenario now. On Wednesday, the BLS announced in a preliminary release that it had overstated the number of new jobs created in 12 months up to March by 818,000. Okay, so they had to come out, and it wasn't because they gave up this information. They were actually caught red-handed lying about those numbers. But yet, that was in March, right? Now, fast forward right to before the election, they come out and say, dude, jobs are amazing. Look at all these jobs. Unemployment's coming down, which it isn't. That is a straight up lie. And, the past 2 months, yeah, we miscounted those. Let's add a bunch more to those too. You are being lied to. And the sad thing is there are human beings in America, American citizens, and I think it is really a small percentage of the population. I honestly believe it is, no joke, 5% of the population that are voting for the left right now, that actually listen to insane propaganda, listen to a presidential candidate that if the teleprompter goes silent, can do nothing except eyes go big, turn sideways, and just repeat what she says like a parrot. They actually believe that. But because they own a lot of the industries, the corporations, the media, they can make it seem like it's a giant. Remember, don't ever forget the movie The Wizard of Oz. When the Great Oz was sitting there and Dorothy and the Tin Man, the Scarecrow and the Lion were all scared, and this massive green head in the Emerald City was yelling in balls of fire. And it was all of them scared and freaked out, but it was that little dog, Toto. Now I'm thinking of the song Rio. She was dancing in the sand. All right, sorry. So now he goes and pulls the curtain away to expose a tiny little frail man pulling the strings. That is exactly what's happening in our economy. That is exactly what's happening in politics right now. And the sad thing is that most people don't understand now is the time to get ready because the battle has been formed. The information is laid in front of you, and a very serious decision sits in front of you. What are you going to do with it? I would, quite frankly, start looking to sell some things around the house that you don't use, free up some cash, look to start a small business, but don't extend yourself. Go very slow, only with cash. Start to get experience because as this market tanks, as it's not going to be a soft landing, there will be more opportunities because people with businesses, you'll be surprised. I went through this in 2008 to 2010, established massive companies, failing, laying people off, selling their properties, selling their inventory. You will be picking up the pieces and you will be running with it. And that is how we start over. And that is how the middle class, if we can make the middle class rich again, we will be a great nation and we will cause the left to run and flee. I had a channel as of last year before I made that very devastating to the channel video of a coming virus that would come right before the election. And now it has started. This channel was being viewed more than CNN every day. The only reason I say that, that's not to puff up my chest. That's to give you confidence. Any one of you can do this. Any one of you can start a successful business. The only question is, are you going to pick up the mantle Or are you going to listen to your family and friends that always talk bad about your dreams? You know what? Sometimes it's time to get new family and friends. All right, with that being said, I'm going to put a link down to the newsletter going out today. It will be a repeat of yesterday's. I will call Dylan and ask him to push it off until like 11 so that everyone can get in, because it has very important information. It actually shows you the link to the video I made a little over a year ago, warning about what just started a week ago. And I believe in the next month, this will consume everybody's news broadcasts. I could be wrong, but like I said over a year ago, I'll put the channel on the line to tell the truth. I hope you got something out of this. And also do me a favor, when you get that newsletter, there's a special video on X, on my channel on X, and there's a lot of fake channels out there. So please go to the right one. If you can follow me there, I'm doing daily broadcasts about that virus. Hope you got something out of this. The Ninja is out.